Hello everybody and welcome back. I am ViceAdmrialKevin and today we're gonna talk about the British battleships. Yes, I'm so excited. The British battleships are steaming into World of Warships, still in test, but I'm pretty sure they are mostly ready for getting into the game. But still there are some minor issues that they still have to fix. I believe Wargaming are still fixing stuff. But maybe it's even done. I'm not sure. But whatever. We are gonna talk about all the tiers in their line, from tier 3 to tier 10. But this will be like a quick video. I will like go from the tier 3 and to tier 10 for very short, like a couple of minutes. I'm gonna make a video from each tier, but that will be for another time. I'm gonna just go straight into it and see what my opinion. You can all see what my opinion about the ships are so far. Also, of course, we start with the tier 3 battleships, and the battleship Bellerophon. My first impression was like, oh, finally, the Dreadnought is here, and then, wait a second, it's not the Dreadnought. Why? It's not the first British battleship, like the Dreadnought. It's not its sister. I like, okay, what is going on here? I thought like, wow, the first Dreadnought was the HMS Dreadnought. But it appears that in World of Warships, the first battleship of the British tier line of the battleship line is another class that is not the Dreadnought. It's the Bellerophon. It's another class. It's not from the Dreadnought class. Although it was succeeded from the Dreadnought class, but it's not the Dreadnought. So just all be aware of that. It's not the Dreadnought. So yeah, it was a bit surprising actually, but perhaps maybe even not, because since Dreadnought was the first battleship or the first Dreadnought, I will think that the Wargaming will probably make some sort of maybe a premium ship out of it, maybe. But that's all speculations. But I think many other actually speculate the same. Of course, the first ship of all Dreadnoughts must of course be a premium. But maybe I'm wrong. I'm not sure. But I think it's a okay ship, to be honest, but I will not go so very deeply into details about her right now. I will take that in another video. Next up is the tier 4 version, the Orion. Really cool looking battleships. Looks like the New York class, but with smaller caliber, but has the same amount of guns, with the caliber of, it's I believe it's 13-inch. I think it's the first ship with 13-inch. Yeah, it's most likely 13-inch. And the tier 5, we have the Iron Duke, also using 13-inch turret, and also looks like the New York and Texas. Really awesome battleship. I really like those. And on tier 6 we have the Queen Elizabeth. So you already know that we already have a Queen Elizabeth class in the game, which is the WARSPITE. There will obviously be some difference about those two, since Queen Elizabeth is the first ship of its class, or should I say it like this? It is the first ship, so there will most likely be some differences there. And we have the tier. Which should I go in? Nelson. I'm not sure what tier it was supposed to be, but I think it was supposed to become a premium now. I think it was confirmed that the Nelson class was not going to be in the tier line where you can grind up to. I think it's going to become a premium. But not as sort of a premium that you're gonna buy with real money or something. I think you're actually gonna try to grind it up, just like you did with the USS Missouri, but slightly less. I think it would cost slightly less than that total amount of XP we did with that, though. I think that was a bit much of XP, though. But I think Nelson would probably get a slightly less of that. Perhaps maybe 500, between 500, 450 and 550, maybe something like that. I'm not sure, but maybe. And then we have the battleship Monarch, which is tier 7, and then King George V at tier 8, and wait a second here. King George V as a tier 8 battleship. You're joking, right? Okay, just saying. When I just heard that news that the King George V was going to become a tier 8 battleship, I was like, what? You are kidding, right? We are gonna use a battleship with 14-inch turrets against ships like Yamato and ships like the German battleship tier the tier 10 battleship with 18-inch guns. I was like, oh wow, how are we going even going to penetrate those? It's like, okay, if the King George V have some sort of a really good penetration, something that'll go through really thick tier 10 armor, that'll be like, wow, that's awesome. But I don't see how that's gonna be so realistic to me, though. Although the ship is very fast, I think it's like 30 knots or 27 between those. I'm not sure, but I think we're gonna go into that later. But what I've heard is now that King George V is now been taken down as a tier 8, and I was like, yes. Finally, that was the right thing to do. Wargaming, that was the right thing to do. I didn't expect using New York against Yamato with those type of turrets or guns. That was like, well, all the shells would just bounce off, I believe, unless you're using high explosive shells. That will probably work, though. But still, taking down the King George V down to tier 7 is the best thing to do right now, I believe. And I'm putting Monarch to tier 8 will most likely fits because it has the 15-inch turrets. Although if King George V could have some sort of an upgrade to the same gun caliber guns that the Bismarck had, that would be really cool. But then again, I think that will be a bit overpowered. A bit too overpowered, yeah. Yeah, I believe that will be a bit overpowered to have 10-15-inch guns versus Bismarck. That will actually fit, but still that will be a bit overpowered. So it's most likely correct that to put the ship down that tier. But anyway, we go back to the tier lines. We have the Lion that is in tier 9. And the Conqueror in tier 10. And we have also there's supposed to be a ship between those, I believe, like the HMS Vanguard as the final battleship that was ever built. And it's not here. It appears that Vanguard is most likely planned for a premium, most likely a tier 8, I believe, between tier 8 or 9. I'm not sure, but most likely tier 8, I'm not sure, but we can all speculate on that too. So, there we have it, all the tiers on those ships. Although, I heard a lot of rumors that Conqueror was a bit, wow. Some say it was like overpowered, and someone was saying that was like, whoa, that was a crappy ship to be tier 10 ever, like a battleship. It has the lowest HP, which is confirmed. I know that too because I've seen the Wargaming Wikipedia status stuff. I've also seen it in gameplay. So yeah, it has the lowest HP. but it also had the longest range of its caliber guns. It's like you can fire like over 30 kilometers or over 30 clicks. I was like, what? How are we ever supposed to hit the target? Then you have to be really like to calculate. Please let that ship go in a straight line and do not make any evasive maneuver or something, because that's like how you're gonna predict the person that using a Yamato just all of a sudden makes a turn. You're wasting all your shot if the ship is like zigzagging over the map. You will never hit the target because the shells will take too long to go like hit the target, you know. So I think they have just reduced it right now to 24 clicks instead. So maximum will probably be between 25 and 27 clicks. I'm not sure. It will be something like that. But that will we go into a detail later, because what I've heard about the high tier British battleships is that they can have like the most fastest repair button ever. Like you can instantly hit the repair button and you're healed already. They may have changed that right now, but how they've changed it, I'm not sure, but we're probably gonna see it in the future, what it is. So there you have it. There we have all the ships in that line. What I'm a bit surprised that Nelson is not getting into the tiers that you can grind up like normal battleships was a bit surprising to me in the beginning, but when I looked into details, it was not surprising at all later, because the ship is carrying 16-inch guns. That's huge caliber. Like that's even bigger than WARSPITE, like the Queen Elizabeth and even the King George V. So I didn't find any place to actually put it in a tier line, and I guess the Wargaming actually didn't find it to place it either, because if you place like Nelson in a tier 6, you will have most likely the same speed or something like that, like the Queen Elizabeth class, but you have then 16-inch turrets, so basically carrying like North Carolina guns on a tier 6 battleship. That will be like overpowered indeed. But if you move it a tier up, it would all of a sudden become still a bit too, not so much overpowered, but the speed is like crap, you know, like the speed is so slow. All the ships above like tier 7, they're gonna go faster than 25 knots. So you will actually happen to be like in a game, and you will with unluckiness you will start out of the edge of the map, and with a high tier, really high tier battles like tier 8 or tier 9, all the ships will steam away from you, and you will never catch them. You will never catch them again. They're gonna steam away from you, and you're gonna get killed by fire from other ships, or being torpedoed by or bombed by carriers. Really, you are defenseless to being alone in that huge ships. And it was what I also learned for a couple of days ago is that Nelson was supposed to have 18-inch guns. That's the same gun caliber that the Yamato has, but was cancelled during the Washington Naval Treaty. So Nelson was supposed to be the most powerful battleship ever built, but was reduced down because of the Washington Naval Treaty. But that's how it is. I also probably gonna talk a bit about the WARSPITE and HOOD too, because although Queen Elizabeth is coming into the game, we already have WARSPITEs, but there are most likely to be some differences between those two sisters. And HOOD is actually a battle cruiser, not a battleship, but still in the game it appears as a battleship. Also, I believe is a fast battleship for some. So I'm gonna probably include them into the game, since Nelson is probably gonna end up like in tier 7, and Hood is already there as a tier 7. That will be like too much money for Wargaming to collect, maybe, I'm not sure, but I don't think they will earn extra money on making them, because we already have Hood that will, with Hood we already paid a lot for, like if you paid for Admiral class, you paid a lot, you know. But if you're like a battleship captain, you paid a lot, and hopefully it was worth it. I don't think we're gonna make the same mistake with Nelson here, because it's gonna be a premium that you most probably gonna grind up with free XP. So I'm not sure, but save your free XP right now. This is probably gonna be it. I'm not sure, but still save some. It might be a good choice. Anyway, I think I'm just gonna end this video right now, because this is getting a bit too long for you now. So hopefully I'm gonna make a video of all of these ships, and then post it on YouTube. So I hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys later.